Diary of the Desert Wanderer.
Day 2. Waking up from being knocked out the second time as the sun starts to rise. I feel the back of my head with my hand and brush past a sizable bump, wincing a bit in pain. My face still feels burned and tight and my lips feel cracked and sore. I sit up once more, sand falling from my shoulders and hair. I look to the top of the mound of sand that I lay beneath the small valley in which I lay. I climb up it and look to where the road and the bus sat. I walk over and see that there are no tracks left on the ground from the day before, all of it washed away and filled back in with sand and blown from the wind. I realize that the tracks altogether have vanished. I try to remember which direction the bus drove and how it got here, get my compass out and look in the direction I believe it to be, and all at the same time cursing myself for not taking the map that the guide generously offered. I look toward the sunrise and reach into my pack, grabbing a scarf to wrap my head with to stop myself from burning more, avoiding more pain that was already ensued, trying to keep myself from burning the rest of the way on the back of my head, my neck. My mouth felt dry and cottony, so I reach into my pack and reach for my canteen, pulling it out, still mostly full. I take 2 large gulps of water and remind myself that I must conserve it, because I don't know how long I'll be here. I close the cap and put it back in, applying a little bit of chapstick and some aloe to my face and neck, which were still burned. Setting the items back into my pack and putting it back on, I set east, the direction in which I believe town to be. To my knowledge, that's where it lay. I kept my compass in my hand and glanced at it every couple of minutes to make sure I was still going east. The compass only shifted a couple of times, but I corrected my course and never veered too far from east, only a couple degrees. After what seemed like hours and miles and a couple of bathroom breaks, the sun once again began to set, and I never thought a desert would be so flat. I took out my camera and snapped a couple more pictures of the sunset. It seemed to be the prettiest thing out here. After a couple of quick photos, I sighed and my stomach growled a bit. I realized I hadn't eaten since the morning before I got on the bus. I opened my pack after sitting it on the ground and sitting myself. Found one of the protein bars I had packed, opened it, and began to eat. Starving, I almost seemed to gulp it down in one bite. I looked in my pack to see that I had several more bars and knew to myself that the canteen, the small water bottle, and they would not last long. However, I did have a small survival kit I bought at the store. Opening it, it was a small plastic case filled with a couple of small items. 1 water purification tablet, 1 sewing needle, a small bit of thread, a knife, a mirror, and some waterproof matches, which in my mind I didn't think I need all that much. It began to get chilly and my sweat-covered clothes made the air feel even more so. Looking around, I see to my left that there's a small dead fern. I quickly grab it and a couple of the neighboring plants, including a small shrub, which was mostly sticks, twigs, and a large center branch, and some dry grass and leaves. Pulling up the grass, a couple of small spiders scurried out from it, and back into the hole which was now underneath. Walking back over to where I set up my so-called camp, I set the items on the ground and arrange them in a way to burn, keeping the bigger pieces to the side. I light the grass and fern and lay beside it, throwing a couple of the larger sticks on. I knew it wouldn't last long, but it would keep me warm enough to fall asleep. I took another couple of swigs of water, put that next to me, and my pack under my head as a pillow. Lay down and looked up to the star-filled sky. It was a little bit more beautiful than the sunrise and the sunset that I witnessed today. Knowing to get my camera back out, I just stared for a moment. Let out a soft yawn, my eyes grew heavy, and I slowly